Hey yo. So I'm doing this video right because of a conversation I just had with my man. And when I tell you he and we was laughing about this thing so hard it was crazy. If you've never had a raggedy car, consider yourself fortunate and blessed. You understand what I'm saying? Like he and we was talking and it come up about like our first vehicle, right? And I mean, like I say, man, I've been on my own since I was 18. And my first car was one of the most trash vehicles on the road. I don't even think it was road worthy, if I'm really being honest. I mean, when I tell you this blue bastard was just death on wheels. You understand what I'm saying? The whole saying you get what you pay for, you absolutely get what you pay for. I think man, my family probably spent maybe $500 for this car. And, and it was $500 worth of a car. I promise you. This little joint, man. If you've ever driven a vehicle on the interstate, you know that they're like you have to like keep up with the flow of traffic. But my car couldn't go anything over like 70 miles an hour. It would just start to shake and vibrate so violently. I mean, it literally felt like the car was just gonna fall apart on the road, right? So I have to drive this car like 65 miles an hour on the interstate, which is torture. I mean, you got 18 wheelers passing you, you got RVs and minivans passing you, but you just got you just got to stay the course. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think people really understand the anxiety. If you've ever walked to your car, right? Like just any given moment, any given day, you walk to your car and you literally don't know if it's going to start. It's 50-50. It may start, it may not. It This was the life I was living. I'm talking about at any given moment. It may be too hot outside, it may not start. Maybe too cold outside, it may not start. It may be raining, it may not start. Just any I mean, you just I never knew when this car was gonna start. Every I'm telling you, every trip was a success story. Every single one. I remember one time the thermostat went out on this car. Every 10 feet is running hot. I mean, the joint would just literally go from cold to hot. You know what I'm saying? So back then, High C used to sell a product in these big jugs. I used to keep like 2 or 3 jugs filled with water in the back seat of my car just to put in because that was the only way I could get from point A to point B without this thing blowing up. You understand what I'm saying? And what's wild is uh I remember one time the transmission didn't completely go out, but the reverse went out. So this little bastard had no reverse. Do you understand how forward thinking you have to be when you're driving a vehicle that you know don't have a reverse? There's no room for error. There is no room for error. I'm literally Fred Flintstoning it with one foot out the car, backing this car up. The joint went out. It went out. I was at the post office. The reverse went out. I'm so all these people, and here I am in a car with no reverse. It was the wildest thing, yo. I'm telling you. This car had now, mind you, it had leather seats, but the leather seats was all like slashed up and ripped up. So anytime you got in the car, like the seat is just ripping you apart. You couldn't wear shorts or anything like that because the seat leather is just digging into your flesh. So I had to lay down towels, you know what I'm saying, over the seats. And yo, the cassette player it literally looked like one of the first cassette players ever to be installed in a vehicle. I was so ashamed of this joint, yo. I would put a towel over the cassette player whenever I got out of the car because I didn't even want anybody walking by the car and see this trash I got. I mean, I'm telling you, the amount the amount of shame I had with anytime I went somewhere, like let's say I had to go to Walmart, I would park so far away from wherever I was going. I might park a block away because I'm like, yo, I ain't want nobody to see me getting in and out of this joint. That blue bastard was a nightmare. And it was one of those cars that had these small tires. The tires was like the size of steering wheels now. I mean, just and, and my mom, right? I guess she tried to like boost my spirits because she was just like, well, it's kind of cute because it has a spoiler on the back. I'm like, a spoiler. Like that's the selling point, a spoiler. And my homeboy, he had a Cutlass. This Cutlass at a stop sign or a traffic light, this Cutlass would smoke so heavily. Do you know what it does to someone when you have to sit in your car and I mean you are literally smoking up the block and you got to pretend like you don't know that you were smoking up the block? It's like you have an active fire in your car, but you got to sit there and act like you don't see all of this smoke billowing up around your vehicle. I'm telling you, man, his hood with his car was also blue, but the hood was just a rusted over shade of dirt brown. And but the thing of it is, as ashamed as we were of our vehicles, it taught us a lesson. At least back then, it taught us a lesson. Because despite my car being an absolute piece of trash, like I never had an issue dealing with like women. Like Lil Bras was still rocking with me with this absolute piece of trash vehicle that I had. You understand what I'm saying? So it taught us a lesson that, yo, you don't have to have this or this to get a girl. You know what I'm saying? Because back then, yo, if you just had a ride, you was winning. That's my word, yo. It was just like if you just had a vehicle, you was winning. You know what I mean? And so it was like just the lessons that you learn by just getting out here and living life. And I don't get me wrong, it's more difficult now because you know there's a lot more, there's social media and stuff, and so people are a lot more shallow today. But yo, then it was just like, yo, if you was riding, you was winning. We was barely riding, but we was winning. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, yo, we would sit and talk about and laugh about those pieces of junk that we had. And that's the thing, yo. It was when you can laugh at the low points, when you can laugh at, you know what I'm saying, the fact that, yo, when you down bad and still be able to laugh about it, you know what I'm saying? Like it gives life a little more oomph. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we were young and we were out there, but man, that little blue bastard, I'm telling you, it got totaled out. I was in an accident. I had never been so happy to be in an accident, a car accident. And I mean, the joint just safety features just failed all over the board. Like I was rear-ended, right? The driver's seat, it just completely collapsed. When I looked up, I was laying in the back seat. I'm like, just all safety features just worthless in this vehicle. You know what I'm saying? This joint was a danger to drive. I mean, from it shaking apart, from it overheating, windshield wipers stopped working randomly. I mean, any storm, you never knew if this, first off, you didn't know if it was gonna crank. Even if you get it started, now you gotta hope the windshield wipers work. I'm like, these are basic safety features. You know what I'm saying? AC, heat, what? Yo, that's the high life. You know what I'm saying? You get in this car, yo, come prepared. You got to come prepared. When you get in this blue bastard, you got to be prepared. You know what I mean? That's my word. I promise you, yo. But it had a spoiler. It had a spoiler. You know, I was never so happy to be in a car accident. I ain't care if I was hurt, whatever. I was just praying to God this joint was total. Cause I I wish I would put some money to get this car fixed. I wasn't gonna drop a dime in this. The only money I spent, I did have to get a thermostat, and I put gas in it. Other than that, that was it. I don't even think it took oil. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think it ran on oil. I don't. Everything was just so rusted over on the inside and up under the hood. It didn't matter. It didn't matter, yo. But if you've ever driven a car and your reverse don't work, and you still find a way to get around to get where you got to go, hey, yo, you winning. You living life out here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, bro, the things that we can look back at and laugh at, yo, because we were young, we were out here and trying to get it done, trying to make our mark, yo. But thinking of just laughing at that conversation, man, just thinking about that conversation and those trash vehicles we had, yo, that's something that you can always look back on, because again, it put things into perspective at a young age. Like, yo, they telling young men nowadays, you gotta have this, you gotta have this, you gotta have this. If you want to deal with women, you gotta have this, you gotta do this, you gotta make this, you gotta. And I'm like, nah, you don't. Nah, you really don't. You know what I'm saying? And if I could cover that car up at night, I would have. I mean, I could leave keys in the car. And, bro, it didn't matter. Nobody was taking this car. Nobody was taking this joint. You know what I'm saying? It was safe. I don't care what hood I was in. This car wasn't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It had electric windows. Again, like everything else, I would never roll them down. I would never roll my windows down, because there was a good chance I wasn't gonna be able to get them back up. You know what I'm saying? Do you realize when you have to take the door apart to manually grab the glass and slide it up and hold it with your knee? Hey, yo, the things I learned dealing with this dealing with this car, man. But it was just all laughs. It was just all laughs. I remember my man, he was like, yo, his joint cut off in the middle of traffic one time. And each time he would try to start it, I mean, smoke is just billowing up. The car looked like it was on fire. You know what I'm saying? And he hit me up and he cursing. Hey, like, hey, yo, son, man, you gotta come get me. I'm like, well, yo, wait, where you at? So I'm like, all right. I say, I may be there. Let me see if my joint gonna start. You know what I'm saying? The whole point of this video, man, is just like, yo, you not always gonna be down bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you just gotta ride the wave. You gotta ride the wave sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? And you'll get to the other side. But man, laugh at it, yo. Laugh at it, man. The things that we place value in is not really valuable. At the end of it, it's not valuable. The friendship that I had with him, that's been sustained for years, that's what's valuable. You know what I'm saying? The vehicles and things of that nature, nice to have. Definitely nice to have. But that's not what gives me substance. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole point of this video. Yo, so if you've driven a piece of trash, or if you currently have a piece of trash, it's okay. It is all right. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? Hey, yo, if you rock with me, man, like the video, do your thing. And until the next time.